for the game of Stalemate in the Frauen Bundesliga. We're here in Jena, about an hour's drive from Leipzig on sunshine, still clinging on here at the Ernst Aber Sportfeld. The rolls of the irrepressible they once were. Defending deep. It will be up to Wolfsburg to find the creative solutions to break this Jena side. The young 25-year-old Jena head coach said he was feeling good about the first home game, admitted it was against tough. Frankfurt on one, Florian Kessner, and pointed out the fact that for Tommy Stroth was not a particularly happy man after that led to a wild game in that 3-3 draw with Werder Bremen. Firmly on the front for the first few minutes here. Jule Brandt plucked out of the air by Jasmin Janning. 9. Ultimately, her resistance was broken in that 2-0 defeat, and then she was after the game. She talked about it all being a gut feeling. Came to the instinct she showed in busy day as well, you would imagine. Jasmin Janning quality in the starting lineup today would help Wolfsburg have not quite as tough a time against Jena, but here come Jena. This is their first real chance to attacking threat, and they've earned themselves a free kick. See there. As well as a bit of a now there's a degree of threat. The chance and a free kick. Pass had to be produced and just wasn't by the Dutch woman. But Latvia's going to get a yellow card for obstructing the free kick. Chant from the home crowd. Hagering unchallenged. Latvia not so, as Rabania calls from the sidelines there. This is it, Jena have obviously taken a notch further given the greater individual. No complaints so far. Going forward, very little to see. The 18-year-old who scored the 90 minutes and 120 went to the shootout. The spot for Carl Zeiss Jena. Vivian Enderman. Which you once again could say a challenge Bayern München for the title on account of the Lena Oberdorf, Eva Pajor. Wolfsburg no strangers. Exodus. And then the difficulty for Wolfsburg is to have lost answers. We are still transition. Draw to Werder Bremen match day 1 and a 6-0 win against Hertha Berlin in the DFB Pokal. There's a game. Other goals scored by Chantal Hagel, Fenna Kalmer, Vivian Enderman and first win in a row in the DFB Pokal, a competition they have won 10 straight. It is in the Frauen Bundesliga though. Meisterschale, because Bayern have such a firm grip on it. And it's not going to get any easier for Wolfsburg as well. Hold the thought, because Hagering. Which is certainly one resource they can pop. Looking to move it quickly, looking for Berenstein. Lovely ball, Berenstein! Now just to note, the Wolfsburg physios there were just checking on you. Strong challenge from Hagering, but a fair one. That is what her whole entire... Reuter does well there against the German international Zorai Linder, but then Linder wins out eventually. That's a nice ball for Berenstein. Immediately closed down by 3. Shifting the play now to the right wing. Enderman had a chance for the early cross instead. Trying to burst into the box. Teeing up instead. Cross didn't really have enough height on it. You need to pick up the pieces under no duress whatsoever. Oh, now Linder skips past it. A distinct lack of a clinical touch in front of goal. Zorai Linder. Wolfsburg's first goal of the new season in her league debut for her new club, having signed from Hoffenheim in the involving her and Linnet Berenstein. Then the game scoring before half time. wild ending in that game saw Lynn horrific pass towards goal that ended up in an own goal despite Melle Froms's some blushes when Alexandra Popp have counted because there was conclusive evidence that the ball did not fully cross the line. Took it away from goal. It should not have stood. In Wolfsburg, especially on the road. Pressure. Oh, Rabagno. Cannot find the target. The chances are at arm's bait. This game very reminiscent. The She-Eagles on that occasion both scoring.
Second ball.
Wolfsburg won a goal before. Of ease into this encounter from their perspective. Created the pressure where this game has been played for the most part. Try and play Nelly Juckel down that left wing. There is one thing, executing it is a very different.
Fine, Luca, du musst! Los!
Florian. Against Wolfsburg would almost be akin to a win. Will expanding next season from 12 to 14 teams. From 12 to 14 teams. As a result, this season, just one side will be relegated from the top tier. And so Carl Zeiss Jena are one of a collection of clubs who simply just need to avoid finishing last to achieve their season targets. Right now, all the statistics speaking in Wolfsburg's favour, except the one that matters, that being the scoreline. Again, really promising play there from the newly promoted side, Carl Zeiss Jena. And then one pass really lacks quality, plays straight into Wolfsburg's hands. Possession conceded, and immediately they had to collapse the lines again. And they're certainly not overcommitting when it comes to getting numbers forward, are they, the home team? Well, Wolfsburg are just throwing everything at them, hoping something sticks. And, oh, that should be a corner, and is. Vivian, 19-year-old, already dealing with tough circumstances. Life in the top tier, and Enderman not making life any easier. Rabano to deliver. Hegering for Marina Hegering. Berenstein keeping the chance alive. And rides one challenge, holds off another. Corner of the game now for the women in neon green. Yasmin Yanning, though, still. The key will be continuing to make saves on the rare occasions she's. Expecting better of themselves as again Marina Hegering. She is a one-woman wrecking. Take one of these count. Jena would have been drawing up all week, though. The knock of heads, and it sounds like Wolfsburg are going to on the trigger, and Jena scratch. Have not stretched them all too often this afternoon so far, so. Closed down too quickly. Type approach here from Wolfsburg. Rabano found by Hegering. Back to Jule Brandt. Second ball. Looking for movement ahead of her, but not seeing a lot of it, Jule Brandt. Now we are going to get that change, and there was a bit of a no there from Jule Brandt. So it's Luka Pap, the young Hungarian. intercepted Marina Hagering's pass. Hagering took it personally and won it back from the 16-year-old. Two players at complete opposite ends of the age and experience spectrum. Pick out across. Really well. Not letting any of the women in neon green get in front of them. Getting those first. But a moment really that's symptomatic. This season, and right now Carl Zeiss Jena have battened down the hatches and they've held on to keep it at stalemate. to the curtain raiser on Saturday afternoon in the Google Pixel Frauen Bundesliga, a double header. Because Carl Zeiss Jena have battened down the hatches, defended to the hilt, and kept to reward themselves. The onus is certainly on Wolfsburg. Luca Pat finding Svenja Hoot. There is a poor pass, once again stopping Carl Zeiss Jena in their tracks. Svenja Hoot setting Linda on the run, trying to turn that corner. Sarai Linda, lovely ball in, and just needed a taker. And in the end, Linnet Berenstein and Lena Latwein, could argue, getting in each other's way. And Latwein looking to let the ball bounce and ghost in behind. Svenja Hoot. Deep goes across. Berenstein is there, but jumps underneath it. Maybe just a touch too high for the Dutch woman. Alex Pop quickly picking up the pieces. Pop will try and get there. Rabagno. Facing the wrong way, Nuria Rabagno. Clipped in. Bounces to Berenstein, who shows no mercy and doesn't have to. Anja Hoschkel went down clutching her face after taking a ball to the nose. Her own player's header. But Berenstein wasn't about to stop the play there. Florian Kessner, I think his message at halftime will probably have been very much the same message he had before the game, which is we're going to have to leave it all out there. Have to act as a unit. Has talked about the fact that he feels the faith here with Carl Zeiss Jena, the young 25-year-old head coach, given the fact that he had the 3-year deal, and Tommy Stroh certainly feeling the faith of the Wolfsburg boss, given the fact that they clearly have been in his ear ever since May, when he announced that he would be leaving Wolfsburg as head coach at the end of this season. Now a U-turn announced yesterday. Jena are back up to 11 women, though there was a lot of discussion on the sideline as to when Anja Hoschkel could come back into the fray, given the fact that there was blood involved in the aftermath of taking the ball to the face. Luca Papp, risky pass, gets away with it. Marina Hegering now can drive into space, finding Svenja Hoot. Linda. Well, that's more shot than cross in the end from Sarai Linder off her unfavoured right foot. She's talked about the fact that she feels she has not realised her full potential, Sarai Linder, and feels that Wolfsburg are the right club to do just that. Vivian Enderman can certainly attest to that, given her sparkling debut season that produced 9 goals in 21 league appearances. A couple of goals in the Women's Champions League qualifying, as well as the DFB Pokal. Here she is, Vivian Enderman. Invited to shoot and accepted the invite. I tell you what, Wolfsburg need to spend a fair chunk of time in training working on their shooting, because it has been way below expectation levels today. It's not just been poor. Wolfsburg are a side with the reputation and quality that they really shouldn't be struggling this much against a newly promoted side, no matter how well drilled they are, especially given how much of the ball they've had, given how they have been camped out in the Jena half for the best part of 50 of the 54.5 minutes that we've played so far today. Enderman taking on Reuter. Now Linda, second bite at the apple. Nice ball, just finds Svenja Hoot. Drilled across, goal, no takers. Pop and Berenstein are in there, and Berenstein flashes the header over. it's not just that they're not scoring, Wolfsburg, it's the fact that they can't even test Yasmin Janning. And I know the 19-year-old has excelled at the start of the season. She's made some incredible saves in both of the games against Meppen and against Frankfurt. But the aspiration for this Wolfsburg side have to be that they need to be testing the young and unproven goalkeeper as often as possible. Now Linda in space again. Plays it into feet for Enderman. Stumbles over the ball. Pap finding Hoot. Hoot to Latvine, back to Pap. You can understand why Pap's been brought on, because in these tight spaces, she really is a wonderful pivot point. That's a lovely ball looking for Pop. And it had to be cut out by Toma Ihlenburg. Keep your eye on the number 31, Marina Hagering. So much threat from these corners. Underneath it again. And it falls to Latvine off the line. Hagering cleared again. Well, Carl Zeiss Jena are living dangerously, but they're going to have to. And now Birkholz all on her own, but has support now with Reuter. The counter-attack is on here for Carl Zeiss Jena. Reuter with the shot. Oh, man, forms spilled it, and just for a moment there was a heart in the mouth. In the blink of an eye, Jena mustering up more threat than they have all game with that wonderful counter-attack. Luca Birkholz, so little to work with, made it work. Found Reuter. Not much more she could have done with the effort. Of course, a bit more accurate to either corner. As we now see a very ambitious effort from Nicole Volderman. Very cheap concession of possession there for Jena, and I'm not sure that was well received on the sidelines. Enderman losing out against Jukkel. Luca Birkholz, who led that counter-attacking charge. Been at the club since it was founded. But talked about the fact that in her eyes, this is the strongest Jena side that she's been a part of. Believes that survival is possible. They remain united. And talked about the fact that there are unique matches awaiting them. She said she was especially looking forward to taking on Wolfsburg and Bayern, the two Women's Champions League sides. Of course, Eintracht Frankfurt disappointingly missing out on a chance to reach the group stages this season. Enderman, no one closing it down. Cross deflected behind for a corner. Ninth corner of the game goes low, and Pop was looking for the flick, almost provided it. Not recycled well though. Oh, Pop. Just waited on it momentarily. Bonsu almost stole a march on her. And they're liking what they're seeing from Luca Pap, and you can understand why. 22 years old. She's come into this game in a tricky situation, and given the fact that she's making her Wolfsburg debut and playing like she's been here the whole time, it's quite impressive. Linda Cross got away from Jukkel. Svenja Hoot. Back in the mix it goes. It's going to fall to Pap now! It would have been spectacular. And it found the back of the net from Luca Pap. It's catching the eye though. And now we have Noemi Gentile entering the fray for Carl Zeiss Jena. One of the women who made way in the starting lineup today and dropped to the bench in one of the 2 changes, and she replaces Nicole Voldman, who was her replacement. It's a difficulty for the substitutes as well. Coming into a game like this, they really have to be sharp straight from the off. There can be no period of warming up. Linda will win another corner for Wolfsburg. That's double digits now in that regard at the very least, but unfortunately none of these corners have really actually produced the desired results, as much as Marina Hagering has made valiant attempts. But make no mistake, Wolfsburg are knocking on the door right now. Oh, goodness me, how did that not find someone in neon green? Hagering was next to it, so was Latvine. Unmarked in the box, relatively free headers, and seemingly both completely whiffing their lines. Berenstein trying to keep the chance alive here. Rabanyo. Back to Linda it goes. It's going the wrong way though from a Wolfsburg perspective. They need Jena to try and push out, but Enderman with a little chop back. Wood looking for movement. Back out to Enderman, another chance to cross. Pops up there. Well, this is clearly the game plan now for Wolfsburg. Get the ball out wide, get Latvine, Pop and Berenstein in the box, and see what can happen. But unless the quality of crosses improves quite drastically, I'm not sure there will be much change in end result, really. From a Wolfsburg perspective, as Pop there is penalised for using her body to block off the challenge. And she has learned over the years to talk to herself in those moments as opposed to the referee. A very physical player. Up against the 16-year-old Felicia Stresser there. Wolfsburg are now readying 2 changes themselves. Lynn Wilms, Chantal Hagel set to enter the fray as Hoot squeezes the ball through, and now all of a sudden, look, the numbers advantage for Wolfsburg. Enderman can't get there first, dear me. Those are the moments where Wolfsburg have really lacked the quality. And this is something that, in years gone by, they would have absolutely torn Jena to shreds. The passes would have been clinical, they'd have been on point. Instead, right now, they are constantly going astray in Rabanyo. That's another corner. Another 3-header. It's off the post this time from Janina Minge. That's not a foul from Berenstein. Oh, no. I mean, this is ever so close from Janina Minge. Unmarked, generated all the power on the header, but in doing so, lacked the placement. For me here, Stresser overcommits. Berenstein just stands her ground. That's not a foul at this level. I'd admit, Miriam Schremer and her fellow officials have been a little bit quick to blow the whistle. I'll give them, they've been consistent. As we see there, Lena Latvine and Nuria Rabanyo brought off. Hoot on the charge, has to play in Enderman. Now Lynn Vilms, fresh off the bench. Enderman picking up the pieces. No foul in the box. Lynn Vilms wins it back. Lynn Vilms with another cross. Just about dealt with. Activity is the shout from the sidelines. Of course, it's worth pointing out, Jena's resistance had broken at this point on match day 1. Charlotte Reuteler scoring the opener for Eintracht Frankfurt in their... Elisa Zenz then adding another in the 81st.
Hey, Luca!
Again, Pot with a fling. Oh, this time it's worked! Finally, Wolfsburg have the breakthrough. The relief, as palpable as the joy. But they've been racking up the corners, they've been racking up the crosses, and far too rarely have the crosses had the quality to find a teammate, but this time Pop makes something out of almost nothing. What an ingenious little flick from Alexandra Pop. Wolfsburg lead by 1-0. That is a type of football IQ and football skill you just cannot teach. One of the greatest of all time in German women's football, Alexandra Pop with her 168th goal for Wolfsburg, and after scoring a contentious equaliser in the 3-3 draw against Werder Bremen, there is nothing contentious about that effort, her second of the season. Lynn Vilms, just stepped on the ball at the vital moment. Covers the position well. I think she was as surprised as anyone that she was a 2-goal scorer in that 6-0 win against Hertha Berlin. Enderman, scrapping away down there. Gentile should be more worried about playing for the ball than the foul. Now Alexandra Pop, pocket of space! Well, with 1 goal to her name and a sight of goal, she fancied her chances there. (1,364) fans in attendance here at the Ernst Aber Sportfeld, that can hold just over 10,000, but a fantastic turnout for arguably one of the more attractive home games that Carl Zeiss Jena will have this season. The other being, of course, the visit of Bayern München. That game will not happen until match day 10. Sometime around about mid-November, so somewhat cooler climate when Bayern come to town. Today, the last of the summer sun was shining down brightly on Carl. Sparkling performance, albeit one that lacked attacking threat entirely, but that's what they had to do. The game plan was clear. As clear as the distribution of the roles of underdogs and favourites. Yeah. 20 minutes of normal time remaining. Wolfsburg, the firm favourites, have had to grind. And I mean really grind this one out. The majority of the match here in Carl Zeiss Jena's half. They only have one goal to show for to their advantage. Had so little to work with up front. The one by Hannah Mesh, the 19-year-old. Someone who's read the book. She's got a hand-signed kit by her as well, and maybe someone else does, providing, of course, someone else hasn't already. Absolute legend of the game. 333 appearances, 100. The good news for Jena is that there is a lot to appreciate against a Wolfsburg side that will then punish them. You look back to last season. Football, even though it really wasn't in the realms of their capabilities, and as a result they really got put to the sword by against Frankfurt and Wolfsburg. I mean, and let's make no mistake, two of the hardest games that Jena will have. Stubborn they have been, given the fact that they have had phases where they've matched both Wolfsburg and Eintracht Frankfurt. From a tough situation into a positive one. Fine Jena this season. All they have to do is avoid fishing last. They need to leave one team behind them. Florian Kessner, the young 25-yard head. Talked about the fact that his side need to accept their position and adapt week after week. Lynn Wilms with the free kick. Lovely shape on it. Pat first to the loose ball. Slips and injures herself as well. They're going to put the ball out of play because Pap has hurt herself here. Turn of Blomqvist. Oh, Hagel loose touch. Hagel, latest player to go into the referee's book. To Julovic, the captain. That could have been a moment, the moment for Carl Zeiss Jena to really and snatch a draw. It was a foul. There we see confirmation. Tunnel. Last Friday. So that she had to pull it together when she whistle. Her creativity, her ability in one-on-one situations. I mean, take a look at those statistics and tell me that if you're Wolfsburg, you shouldn't. Goal to the name is actually a bit of a return. Come the end of the season, no one will care. All that will matter was that 3 points were put on the board. League win of the season, and after dropping points in the 3-3 draw with Werder Bremen, it was Jena. These will not be the games that will determine their fate this season. Look at the next 5. It'll be very interesting to see just how many points, or how few points are needed actually to survive. But Wolfsburg already is that they're going to make this league a lot more competitive as a newly promoted side than Nuremberg and Duisburg ever did. Right now we've got another corner for Wolfsburg. Sven Johut. It's another good one. Berenstein! Should have buried it. Her profligacy might prove problematic in other matches. Here she is again, Berenstein. She never stops going. But her end product, I have to admit, regularly leaves a bit to be desired. Wonderful positioning, unmarked, right place, right time, just didn't have the right finish. Melina Reuter, who had the best chance of this game for Carl Zeiss Jena, one of only their 3 shots on goal, the only one that actually found the target. An effort that was probably a little too straight at Merleforms to really damage that Carl Zeiss Jena would have wanted to. Coming games for Wolfsburg, of course. What's missing from this fixture list is the Women's Champions League playoff ties against Fiorentina. But the big question in the Frauen Bundesliga, match day 6, on home soil against Bayern, where will they be? Because they've already dropped points against Werder Bremen. They've got a game 4. In amongst this, they've got the extra 2 games against Fiorentina. Want to get into the Women's Champions League. So will they go into that game against Bayern with a fighting chance of taking top spot off of? They go into that game knowing that even a win wouldn't draw them level on points with the 2-time defending champions. Berenstein, surely now! Oh, it's off the bar! Well, I was just about to say surely now, because I figured that she was going to have a go on goal herself, but she decided to be unselfish because the chance just opened up for her there. Put her foot through it. Whole situation as Hagel hits the bar, but That's where you see a complete lack of clinical touch from Wolfsburg as a whole. I've laid at the feet of Berenstein herself. Given the amount of chances she's missed today, she has been brought in to fill the big boots left behind. Cannot replace Eva Payer's goal-scoring prowess 1-for-1. Berenstein, who knows what it takes to score goals and thrive at the highest level, but she is still chasing that first ever goal as a Wolfsburg player. Spent 5 years on the books at Bayern, only scored 24 goals in 129 games. 22 goals in 64 appearances for Juventus. So she is not the most striker, Linnet Berenstein, but she is having to shoulder a lot of the goal-scoring responsibility for Wolfsburg this season. Find that finishing touch more often than not. So far, continues to escape her. Didn't get there. And they survive the scare, Jena. I genuinely have lost count of how many crosses Wolfsburg have put in the clear by a Jena player. I mean, if I'm Tommy Stroot, we are drilling shots on goal and we are drilling crosses. Oh, Enderman, that's a lovely touch. Vivian Enderman, twisting, turning, Vivian Enderman! She's a player, there's a lot to enjoy about her football. But today, it seems even Wolfsburg's best players are all guilty of the same thing. Overthinking situations, not being clinical. Carl Zeiss Jena, given the fact that, well, that's now 30 shots on goal for Wolfsburg. Just noticeable amount of room for improvement for this Wolfsburg side. At the start of the game, the She-Wolves this season, given the transition, the upheaval they've gone through in the summer, losing Janssen, losing Oberdorf, losing... This is a new group that needs time to develop. About the fact that he still feels he has an extremely exciting team that are making extremely quick steps, and he sees everything that they need. But clearly this period of transition is going to go Wolfsburg would have wanted into this season. Just the start of a lot of transition at the club. Because you look at the expiring contracts, Boot, Kristin Deman, Alex Pop, we have an aging squad here. And there really is going to be a changing of the... It started this summer with the transfers that forced Wolfsburg's hands. It's going to continue. But the good news for Wolfsburg is that Tommy Stroot is going to oversee it all, and he was their preferred candidate. Decision. 4 titles in 3 seasons with the club, and with Bayern München really now but maybe steal a march on them, especially now they've been knocked out of European football, so they won't. A late salvo here. Bundesliga champions Wolfsburg. It might cost you a second goal at the Blomqvist! And Janning makes the save. Jena aren't going to exploit the space though. Oh, she's been brilliant, Yasmin Janning. I think she probably would have expected to be busier and to have to make even better saves than she's had to make today. A lot of them have simply been closing out the angle because Wolfsburg players have taken extra touches when they didn't need to in the box. Plenty of guilty parties in that regard. They won a second here, Wolfsburg. Enderman. Hagel. Still Chantal Hagel! And Janning will pounce on the loose ball. Janina Minger. Looking for Berenstein and is going to find her as well. Janning's off her line, no handball. Still Janning stranded. Hagel. Blomqvist wants it. Doesn't have the touch to get past Stresser though. It really is the tail of the tape for Wolfsburg today. So much positivity, so many promising positions. The execution has been severely lacking. As Hagel strikes, saved by Janning. And I'm sure that's something that Tommy Strauch will address after this game. To have over 30 shots and to only score one is not what Wolfsburg expect of themselves. Maybe one last chance to get a second goal to make this win look a little bit more convincing on paper than it really has been in truth. I mean, all the favor of Wolfsburg. And it is the She-Wolves that grind it. Credit to Carl Zeiss Jena for proving so stubborn. They lacked the attacking threat to truly trouble Wolfsburg and put this result in jeopardy. But in the end, Alexandra Pop's wonderful near-post flick is the difference as Wolfsburg are 1-0 winners against Carl Zeiss Jena. Well, the roles of favourites and underdogs were clearly assigned in this game. And ultimately, the underdogs could not produce the upset as the favourites have come out on top. But the more glittering assessment of today's proceedings will go to Carl Zeiss Jena and Florian Kessner's young and up-and-coming side. They clearly have the fight in them needed to survive in Germany's top tier. They want to avoid an immediate return to the Zweite Frauen Bundesliga. But the 2-0 loss against Eintracht Frankfurt on match day one, the 1-0 loss here today in their first home game against Wolfsburg, Nothing to be ashamed of. Those are two of the hardest games I'll have all season. Those are two games that bonus points are on offer, but not the points that will determine their fate. They gave an incredible account of themselves, and on another occasion, they might just have stolen a point from Tommy Stroll's side. Were it not for a moment of individual brilliance from Alexandra Popp, that might just have been the case. But Popp popped up when Wolfsburg needed her most to score what was the winning goal, her second goal of the season. The first controversial, as it secured a 3-3 draw against Werder Bremen with a shot from range that did not cross the line fully. Today, there was absolutely no controversy about her goal, as we see the statistics speak overwhelmingly in favour of Wolfsburg. But you really wouldn't have known it on the pitch. Yes, they had more of the ball. Yes, they were winning more challenges. Yes, they were completing more of their passes. And yes, most of this game was played out in Jena's half, but this wasn't a Wolfsburg side that showed the peak of their powers and showed off their real quality, because if they had, they'd have scored more than once. But they were wasteful in front of goal. Whether it be Linnet Berenstein, whether it be Vivian Endermann, whether it be Jule Brandt, Svenja Hoot, Marina Hegering even had a handful of chances as well from corners. Today they got away with it, Wolfsburg. On another occasion they might not have. But you've got to say, you look at their performances match day 1 and match day 2, and still we have more questions than answers. Tommy Stroll has now committed his long-term future to the club. That is certainly positive news for Wolfsburg. He said that he came to the conclusion that his journey at Wolfsburg is not over yet, and that he doesn't need a new club for a new challenge. And if the start to this season has underlined anything, it's the fact that Wolfsburg are in a very challenging position right now. And the big challenge they have is to not completely lose touch with Bayern